Hey guys, so welcome back. So today I'll be talking about the basics of cybersecurity and how you can get into it and which field you can look into, whether it's offensive, defensive, or if you're just looking to be a part of any one of the other fields like leadership or security assurance or just networking in general. Maybe even it's help desk or sysadmin. Whatever that is, there's a lot of like key fundamentals that are really important that are going to build upon the overall that's very basic that you're going to learn and you're going to build upon throughout your time with cybersecurity if you're interested in this. So, number one would be like just networking in general. That's gonna be a big, broad, whether it's subnetting, knowing how to subnet, VLAN, just protocols that expanded upon topologies, OSI model. All of these are really good for understanding the basics of how like a switch, a router, a hub, firewall all operate in an environment. So if you understand how all those operate, then you can really understand how a network lays out and then how you can better protect your network, whether you're trying to protect it, attack it, whatever that is. But knowing how the devices that send the packets together all operate, that's a really big thing. So really everything on this page is going to help you out a bunch and able to understand how communication happens. When it gets down to more of the hardware, because we're talking about software right now and how packets are transmitted, some of it's hardware, but then you have the actual machine. So you have each individual host box or your servers. You're going to have CPU, RAM, GPU, motherboard, storage, a couple other things such as PSU and a couple other parts. But those are the broad concepts, really understanding all the parts that make up a computer, what parts that they improve. When you improve one, what does it improve to your computer? What you need for virtualizing, what you need for things like that. So just understanding how each impact your system definitely helps out. So we have networking first, then you have your overall hardware of the system. Then next would be understanding the difference between Windows and Linux. Um, Understanding that Linux, there's different commands inside of Bash and inside of the shell. So going inside there, you have cd, ls, pwd, very basic commands. So a really good website that you could go to. There's a couple different CTF websites, but there's one called Bandit Over the Wire. So I can go Bandit over. Go on here. This one's really good. So if you really want to understand Linux, this is a great website that would really help you out. I try to put guys on this right away if they're interested in getting into Linux. That's definitely one of the first ones I recommend. Then you also have Windows, understanding Windows commands. You have to understand how Linux and Windows are different and how the operating systems are different. Like Windows will have registry keys and everything's labeled in different compartments, where everything in Linux is a file. So understanding the differences between registry keys, OUs, how everything's labeled, it can be domain joined a lot better for enterprise scaling. Along with the Windows side, that's one thing that makes it different. And then that goes into understanding how a domain works. So if you want to get your first job in help desk or sysadmin, some part that you're learning about the base of the system, when you do that, you really have to understand how a domain works and what a WEC is, what a DC is, like a domain controller that manages everything, how these hosts are joined, the GPOs that are pushed across. Really understanding all these different parts is going to really build the foundation for how to protect your network. Going back to the networking section of the firewall, understanding what ports, really understand protocols. In the long-term future, definitely want to have some videos that I actually release that be able to show like all of this and being able to teach from the ground up, all the way up to threat hunting with defensive cyber measures and being able to actually like help out using MITRE ATT&CK and other like LOBAS and other rules and reports and able to actually like mitigate threats. So those are all the basics I would say for the most part. If you have any other questions, leave them down below. But there's quite a bit, some mile wide, inch deep. These are all the different facets of what you can look into. So you have networking, security architecture, asset security, security and risk management. You got software. You got security operations, defensive and offensive, and security assessment and testing. Got all these different areas that you can focus in on. Even doing SCADA and ICS systems, which is like the water treatment plants and things like that. But once you figure out what your niche is that you want to focus in on, then you can go 100% on that. But highly recommend with the Paul Jeremy Roadmap. It's a great resource, and able not to get the search, just to understand the roadmap and the knowledge. Because what you can do is you can start with these basic certs, and you don't even need to get the cert. You can just look at the content and the information that's questioned, so you can try to get a grasp of what type of ideas of things that you should be learning about, because you can use this information as a resource. You don't need to get the certs. It's more importantly about, hey, that's an idea, a concept that's a part of something, and I'm going to take that concept and I'm going to learn more about it. I'm going to ask, why is that the way it is? You can go in there and you can keep on constantly like, hey, that's another new thing that I learned. How does that work? Why does it function like that? Can I break it? Is there some way I can mold it? Is there more I can learn about it? Ask other people, get involved with the community, ask about whether it's Discord or Reddit, and asking other people like what their thoughts are, how it impacts them, what things work with them. So pick your path and just kind of run with it. I mean, at the very beginning, just go broad, learn as much as you can about A+, Net+, Sec+, just the basic certs, and kind of move your way up as you go, and then you can kind of like pick and choose from there and able to like understand, oh, you want to go security architecture and engineering, and you can go towards that. If you want to go SCADA systems, you can do that. If you want to do leadership, go to that. If you want to go like incident response handling, go to that. But there's so many different facets that you can focus on. I would just say like build up your knowledge, improve as you go. Just keep on asking why. Be curious about as you're going, and keep on like building block by building block and work where you go. So if you have any questions, leave it down below. If you could, like the video, subscribe. Be happy any other videos. If you drop down below any other videos you want to learn about, or any Docker containers, anything that you'd find interesting or I could make a video about. Love to show that. So just let me know.